Podcast, where we dive into deep topics that matter the most to our communities and also to raise the awareness on mental health. I'm your host Kayla, and today we are tackling a critical issue which is affecting among our youth and basically our secondary school learners, which is substance abuse and its impact on mental health. Our theme for today is lost in the fog and how substance abuse can cloud the mind. So many of you may be wondering, what do I mean by clouds the mind? This can be through academic performance, losing ties with family members, and also not living your day-to-day lifestyle. Because once a person is affected by substance abuse, you tend to lose your toll on your everyday life. You tend to get like emotions that can affect you and your family, and that your family tries to move away from you because of you having anger issues or emotional outbreaks and everything. So it clouds your mind to the point whereby you tend to lose focus in school too. Your marks tends to drop and everything. So joining me today is Mr. Josef, an executive member of CODAC and a dedicated advocate in his community. So thank you for being here, Mr. Josef.
Thank you very much, Kayla. Good morning, everyone. And first of all, allow me to appreciate the Empowering Minds Namibia Podcast for having me as a host today. As it was said, my names are Josef Haufiku, and I'm the director of CODAC. CODAC is an organization that was formed way back in 2016 at Valbesweg Correctional Facility, and CODAC stands for Coastal Drugs Awareness Campaign. CODAC's vision is to sensitize, educate the youth as well as the community at large on the substance abuse and alcohol abuse in general.
Okay, so let's already start to set the tone on today's topic. So substance abuse among the youth is an increasing concern, not just globally but here in Namibia also. So that leads me to the first question I have for you, which is, can you help us understand how substance abuse begins to cloud the mind and the short-term effect it has on the mental health of a secondary school?
Thank you very much for the question. It is very important that we understand the effects of drugs abuse at the primary level. One of the things that we mostly encounter from people who are abusing drugs is the physical things that we can see on them. We see that these people mostly have mood swings. Their mood is not stable as a normal person. At times you'll find them angry, you'll find them full of rage or feeling lonely. And looking at their memory, they have a memory problem where they encounter memory losses. You find a person, you will tell a person to do something, and then 1, 2, 3, the person goes out, it becomes a kasongo. A kasongo that only thinks 8 seconds, and then they forget what they have done for the last second. We also look at the hallucinations. This is the most important part that we encounter in drug abusers. Hallucinating is where a person hears voices or see things that doesn't exist. Let's take it in the fact of Elena. Elena being in class, a teacher teaching, and here comes Elena, he's shouting or running out of class, just because that person is hallucinating, caused or affected by the drugs abuse that the person is going through.
Okay, very informative. So can you give us the long-term consequences it has on a learner or just in the youth in general, and why it's so difficult for many to break free from it?
Yes, thank you very much. Long terms always come from short terms. So when you encounter the short terms, that sees that you are still at the edge of getting help or being assisted at a very early age. But when you encounter long-term effects, this is where now in most cases, these effects has no treat, but yet you can be assisted in going through them with a supportive team or group that can assist you. So we come to the terms of withdrawal symptoms. When one is withdrawing from drug abuse, these people mostly encounter things that doesn't happen in a person's normal life. It is like when you are addicted to something and you are trying to move away, and this thing is like a pulling factor that is pulling you back, because you get so engraved that you get cravings wanting to do the thing, because you have now started a persistent pattern of using drugs. Let me say, for instance, in simple terms, you are using cigarettes, or let's say drugs. You are using dacha, you are smoking dacha. So you have set a pattern for you that daily you smoke dacha at 1 o'clock. And then 1 o'clock I will keep you busy with a meeting elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it is your time to smoke. You will be uncomfortable, you feel uneven at that moment because you just want to do what you have been doing that time.
Yeah.
So those are the most factors that actually pushes most people back to fall into trap as drugs again. And looking at the emotional and social challenges, most people, it is the environment that we live on. And we let this environment define or determine who we are. Because we want to do what the next person does. You see A smoking, and then me as B, I want to smoke as well. Not knowing the effects or consequences that you might encounter from what the next person is doing.
Yeah.
So we also look at the lifestyle adjustment. It is now time where people were using pipes to smoke, hookah pipes. Now they have migrated to vipers. And it's so sad that it's parents that are buying these vipers for their children. School-going children, what is it that you are trying to imply? What are you teaching your child? What do you think this child might... Now, let me say, for instance, if the lifestyle is adjusting from vipers to dacha vipers, this kid will automatically migrate to dacha vipers.
Exactly.
And this is the main cause that the parents have to take into consideration and look into these things and take actions against them.
Yeah. I love the way you answer that question. It's so informative, and I think also our secondary school learners and parents will take this into consideration, because I mean, we as the parents, we are supposed to keep our kids away from these things. I feel like parents feel so much about their child being this awesome kids, but encouraging such things that leads the kid to another health issue. It's very sad to see in our country. So I believe we all have personal stories regarding substance abuse. So what are some stories or examples you can share with us that you have encountered that show the human side of this people?
Thank you very much for that question. It hits directly to CODAC. CODAC is so unique in the fact that CODAC, as I said before, that CODAC was established by inmates. These are the people who went through the consequences of drug abuse.
Yeah.
These are the people who were dealing into drugs. These are the people who were using drugs. These are the people who committed crimes while they were under the influences of drugs. And these are the exact people who committed crimes to get money to feed their drug habits. Now, these people went through the rehabilitations in the correctional facilities, and they found a means that I have went through this, so it is my time to plow back into the community. It is my time to educate the community for them not to fall prey that I fall for, that I've encountered through when I was abusing drugs.
Okay.
So these guys goes out to schools. We do presentations at churches, in the community, and we also do corporate presentations where we sensitize the community on how to stay away, or on how to educate their children at home to stay away from drugs.
Okay. So what about the ripple effects it has on families and communities? How does the problem extend beyond an individual like myself?
Thank you very much. This is something important that we always look at, because you can't cross the first and the second street into your community without encountering a house that was broken down by drugs. Family suffers broken houses. Husbands are run away. Wives are run away. They become drug addicts. When you become a drug addict, you devote your life to using drugs. Drugs becomes your family. The drug lord becomes your family, while you have a family at home that you have run away from. Let me say, in an instance of a father, an employed father, who gets a salary, and the mere salary goes straight to the drug lord, where he feeds his habits. And the family remains suffering. And in this family, there's kids that goes to school that needs to be taken care of. So in most cases, these families suffer emotional toll. Families suffer mental health because of stresses, depressions, anxieties, and all those things comes up. So it is something that the community really needs to address, because we look at matters where we found a family being broken down by drugs, but we tend to look a blind eye on them.
Yeah.
So it is time that the community takes up a toll and assist these people, there's always ways to help. There's always people that you should reach out to, like CODAC, that can assist such people in the community.
I love that. And I am very much a witness of what CODAC does in the community, especially to broken homes and families and kids that goes through substance abuse. And I really want to tell you guys are doing a very impressive job.
Awesome.
Keep it up. If we as the whole Namibia can stand behind you guys, I believe we can tackle the substance abuse by 2063 as per our agenda, to create a better future for education too, a safe place for our learners, and to create a brighter success. I mean, we are the future of tomorrow, aren't we?
Thank you very much. Together we are strong, apart we fall.
Exactly. So also let's shift the focus to the solutions. What preventive measures can schools and families in the community take to protect young people from falling into the trap of substance abuse?
Thank you very much. As we have said before, everything starts at home. So it takes a community to build a child, and it takes a single parent to break a child. So what is important is families should, especially parents, I'm urging parents and guardians, they should engage themselves into support networks where they get to be sensitized or to be educated on how they should approach their children, or how they should be educated their children to abstain or stay away from drugs. Because in earlier methods now, drug lords or people dealing with drugs are more advanced than the users. They have ways and tactics on how they attract their prey. So it is very important that we first engage the parents and the guardians into these empowering community networks, and the education and awareness clubs, like the CODAC campaign. We usually go around to churches with the governor's office delegate, as well as the NAMPO and the Namibian Correctional Service. We go around churches educating people. So, because what is important, it is already happening. We can't stop it in a day, but as much as we educate the ones growing up, they will grow up knowing to what to do right and what not to do.
Just to go on to that answer, I think last year CODAC had this initiative whereby we visited primary schools in Belfast by also educating the kids on substance abuse. Can you just give us more on that? Is it going to continue this year again? Because I feel it's a very great initiative, starting from primary school learners, going to secondary school learners, and it's a great way to educate them on what the causes and consequences can be. So are you guys going to continue this initiative? Or
Yes. That is something that we have signed for. We have signed to educate the youth, and we are going to continue doing that until the toll of drug abuse has fallen. Talking of school presentations, we are going to kickstart with our first school presentation tomorrow, which is Friday in Walvis Bay at Juneside High School, where we will also be relaunching our toll-free numbers, where the Walvis Bay and the surrounding people are welcome to send text messages or email seeking for help, because it's always not the person who's affected that seeks for help. It is the person that identifies that person that seeks help for that person. So it is very important that we look at our people. You really know the people surrounding you. You know how that person is. But literally out of the blue, this person changes. You recognize that this person is normal in his normal state of mind. So it is time that we engage outside our boundaries. So our presentation carries on, and for your information, it is also, I'm happy to announce that CODAC has implemented a sport academy where we are getting the youth from the streets, especially the less privileged ones that are not having access to sport facilities. We are getting them off the streets. We put them in different sport codes, soccer, netball, as it goes on, and it's really working.
It's a very great initiative.
Because keeping a child busy means keeping a child away from.
And also keeping their mind busy, not from thinking about,
Exactly. Because a boring child always gets involved into bad things.
Exactly.
Yes.
So moving on to our next question. How about those who are already struggling? What resources or pathways to recovery are available for such people in Namibia?
What I will say is no situation is permanent. And as a person, you should always not let your environment define who you are.
Yeah.
You should determine what you want to achieve in life, and you should choose right and be stable, or let me say, be focused on what you want to achieve in life. So for those who are already suffering, or for those who know people that are already suffering, CODAC has an office in Walvis Bay. We are situated right behind the multi-safe in Walvis Bay. So we are also having a number that will be given on a later stage where you can reach us to. Seek for assistance. We are having professionals on board that can deal with trauma. We have trauma specialists, we have counselors. We are also having members who can assist in the spiritual lifestyle of a person. So it's very important. We are also having working along with the governor's office in the terms of the sensitization and in the terms of getting out those that are already affected by drug abuse. And we are also journeying with those that are on the recovery programs. We have a recovery program that comes time to time that we used to host in Walvis Bay, but we'll kickstart with one soon in Walvis Bay as well. So we are also journeying with, we are in partnership with Break Free, Be Free, in the Office of the First Lady, as well as the One Economy. So there's also most of the NGOs in Walvis Bay, or let me say Erongo region in general, that are falling under the governor's office. We are journeying along with them. So reach out, talk to us, we'll refer you. What we can handle, we will always refer you to the rightful people.
Yeah, it's great to see like so many organizations supporting the dreams that CODAC have to, save our young kids and the youth. So it brings me with great sadness that we came to the end of our podcast of today. So as we wrap up today's episode, I would also like to extend and thank Mr. Josef Haufiku from CODAC for the invaluable contributions to this discussion. It was much needed, and I feel secondary school learners, they will listen to this, they will share it with their friends. I feel also schools should take initiative on what we spoke about today. And yeah, so before we go, do you have any final words or advice of encouragement for our listeners?
Yes, my word of encouragement is a quote from NATO that says, I quote, "Your present circumstances don't determine where you can go, they merely determine where you start." And my advice to the listeners is stay connected. Take one day at a time. It's never too late to succeed. Seek help if you need help. Celebrate milestones. One achievement in life is a success, because one step forward is a success. So remember, recovery is a journey, and every step forward is a testament to your growth and resilience. Keep moving forward, and do not be afraid to ask for support when you need it.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. And I also want to leave our listeners and our learners with this, that the fog may be dense, but it's not permanent. With the right support and determination and understanding, young minds can find clarity again. So if today's topic resonates with you, or if you know someone who might benefit from this conversation, please share this episode with them, and let's work together to empower our youth and to give them the tools they need to thrive, because together we can create a brighter Namibia and a safer Namibia, not only for us but for our future generations. So thank you, Mr. Josef Haufiku, and thank you for tuning in to Empowering Minds Namibia. So stay connected on our platforms on Instagram and Facebook, and also stay connected on our YouTube page, where we'll be posting our streams every month. And don't forget to join us for our next episode. But until then, take care, and remember, no matter how cloudy things may seem, brighter days are ahead, and stay empowered. Thank you.
Thank you, Empowering Minds.
So welcome back to our Youth on the Street segment, where we have our youth sit down with us just to answer a few questions, get it from a youth perspective. So today I'm joined by a youth member from our community, which is Haufiku. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, so let's try to make this, very, encouraging to our high school kids. Let's try to get into their vibes. So let me ask you a few questions, not too serious, but also, not trying to shake away from the topic in general.
Just something chill.
Yeah, just something chill. Alright, so can you give us from your perspective alone, have you ever encountered people using substance abuse, or just close friends or relatives or so on, and how did you feel about this? Like, how did it affect you emotionally?
Well, growing up in Namibia, I was surrounded by a lot of people that were using substances, whether it be marijuana, alcohol, dirk, pills. Yeah, it's become a regular thing in our country. It's sad to say, but yes, I've encountered it everywhere. Everywhere, in every town. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel being a secondary school learner myself, it's sometimes sad to see that you can't do anything towards this, especially when it's like a close friend of yours. And like, guys, like really, we are trying to, create a better future for ourselves. We are trying to make Namibia the country it is supposed to be. So yeah, moving on to another question, I want to ask you, what not conclusions, but what will you advise someone going through substance abuse? How to get away from it, especially a person like me that tends not want to be judged because of what I'm doing. What advice will you give them, as a second alternative to go through, to get through what they are going through?
Well, okay, it starts with yourself.
Yeah.
You have to take initiative for your own life. If you want to stop, you really have to take it seriously. Like most of the time, if I'm a daily user and I take a week off and one of my friends say, oh, it's not a yet, you just, wow, you should be proud of yourself. You encourage yourself. I feel like most people really lack that self-awareness of what they're doing, of how much they're actually impacting their own life. You should be proud of what you're doing.
Exactly.
Even if you're a cigarette smoker, if you go from a pack a day to 10 cigarettes a day, it's an improvement, but you have to keep on improving. That's the thing. You shouldn't just stop and be happy with where you're at.
Yeah, and I think also one thing I can add on that some kids can try is, meditation, getting into sports, because I think this keeps the mind very busy. And guys, meditation is nothing bad. Spending 10 minutes just sitting in a quiet place, listening to some calming music can help you a lot to clear your mind. Instead of, running to substance abuse and whatsoever, go out with your friends, have a chill time, but also remember to try and choose your friends wisely. Guys, I'm telling you, one thing I've encountered is very bad friends. And the bad your circle, the bad you will also become yourself. So I think last question for the day.
Sorry, can I just add on to what you said?
Yeah, sure.
Most people also tend to substitute their substances.
Yeah.
So from being a marijuana user, sure, you stop marijuana, but now you're an alcoholic. That doesn't make any sense. You're just picking another drug to use.
Yeah.
And yeah, with our youth, especially the university students, guys, come on, pull up your socks.
Okay, so let's try to give them a word of encouragement, but also try and make it, Okay, so let's try to give them a word of encouragement, also trying to make it a little bit youthful. So what will you, give a word of encouragement to them, as a youth leader, coming from a youth perspective, not trying to make it too serious, but also at the same time, fixing what we're talking about.
Don't lose hope in yourself. Just because you've been a substance abuser for an extended amount of time does not mean that you can't change your life and become a better person.
Yeah.
Encourage yourself, build yourself up, get friends that motivate you, that will stand by you, that will help you. Yeah, it starts with yourself.
No, definitely, it does start with you. And I think a few things we can start to hashtag in 2025 is hashtag stop drugs, hashtag face substance awareness, and hashtag be youthful, guys. Come on, we are the youth of tomorrow. So, let's try to refrain from substance abuse. Let's try to be more youthful. I mean, it's not wrong going out with your friends once in a while when you feel trapped or you feel like your mind starts to get cloudy. So, yeah, who knows who we will see next in our episode on our Youth on the Streets segment. So, make sure to stay tuned. And if you want to be part of it, don't hesitate to email us through our social medias. Our email address also will be listed down below. So stay informative, stay useful, and until next time.